Hello everyone, my name is Ronak and you're watching VectoArt. In today's video, we will look at how to create a note-taking app where users can create, save and load multiple notes. In our last video, we talked about how to get started with MAUI and also we created our first MAUI app. In this tutorial, you will learn how to create a .NET MAUI shell app, run your app on your chosen platform, define the user interface with extensible markup language, which is XAML, and interact with XAML elements through code, create views and bind data to them, and use navigation to move to and fro from pages. You will need Visual Studio 2022 to create an application with which you can enter a note and save it to the device storage. So let's start first by creating a new project. And before we go there, I would like everyone to please subscribe to my channel. It means a lot and it motivates me to create more such videos. So moving ahead, let me create a new project and select the MAUI.NET app. If you do not see this, please check out my previous video where I have explained how to install MAUI using Visual Studio and how to create your first app. So I'll select this and click next. I will give this project a name that is notes. And I will uncheck this setting, place solution and project in the same folder and click on next. Let it be .NET 8 and create. So selecting the target. The .NET app, MAUI apps are designed to run on multiple operating systems and devices. You will need to select which target you want to test and debug your app with. To set the debug target in Visual Studio toolbar here on the top, we need to change this from either Windows machine, Android emulator, or the iOS platform. Let's talk about customizing the app shell. So when Visual Studio creates a .NET MAUI project, four imported code files are added or generated. These can be seen in the Solution Explorer pane. The first is the MAUI programs.cs. Second would be is the app.xaml file. The third is the app shell.xaml, and the fourth is the main page.xaml. The MAUI project programs.cs is a file or the code file that bootstraps your application. The app.xaml file contains app-wide XAML resources such as colors, styles, or templates. App shell file defines the app shell class, which is used to define visual hierarchy of the app. The main page XAML is the startup page displayed by the app. So let's start by adding an about page. The first customization that we are going to do is to add another page to this project. This page is an about page, which represents information about this application or the app, such as the author, version, and perhaps a link for more information. So let's start by adding this. So in our Solution Explorer on the Visual Studio, we will right click on our notes project and click on add and add a new item. In this dialog, let's select .NET MAUI and we will select content page XAML and give this project a name, not project, sorry, this page a name, and we will call this page about page.xaml. Let's click on add. So the about page XAML file will open a new document tab and it will display all of these XAML markup that represents the UI of the page. So let's replace the XAML markup with the following markup that I already have. So let me copy and paste this and I will explain you what I have changed. So let's save this first and I'll break down the key parts of this XML controls that are placed on this page. So first is the content page, which is the root object of the about page class. Next is the vertical stack layout. This is the only child object of our content page. Whereas content page can have one child object, only have one child object. The vertical stack layout type can have multiple childrens within this vertical stack layout. And then we have the horizontal stack layout. This operates the same as vertical stack layout, except its childrens are arranged horizontally. Then we have the image to display an image. In this case, it is using the .NET bot PNG image that comes with every .NET MAUI project. Under resources, if you see images, you will have this always. Then we have the labels control to display the text. We have the button control that can be pressed by the user, which raises the clicked event. You can run code in response to this clicked event. Then the clicked event of the button is assigned to learn more underscore clicked event handler, which can be defined in the code behind file, and we will create this code in the next step. So let me save this, and now we need to handle the clicked event that we have added here. So let's go to the solution explorer, and in the about page.xml.cs file, let's open this. And here in the yeah, after our about constructor, let's add this code. So this is our learn more clicked event handler, which opens the system's browser to a specific URL. Notice that the async keyword has been added to the method declaration, which allows the use of await keyword when opening the system browser. Let's save this file, and the code behind is now complete. Next, let's go and run this application and see if there are any errors till now. So our application is running fine, but to see our about page, we will need to make some changes to our app shell file. So let me stop this application and do a couple of more changes. For example, we have added our about page, and we will soon add a notes page to our application, and these pages will need icons. So let's add some icons to our application. So I have downloaded some icons from icons8.com, and I will add them to this application under the images folder and add existing item. And I will go to the downloads folder and select all files here, and let's select these two items and click on add. So now I have two icons added to my images folder. So let's go to our app shell file and make some changes to our app shell content. I have the code which I will paste here in the shell content. So here we have our code added, and let's break down this code. Before that, I have made a few changes to the images that we added. So I have copied the images to reflect the iOS, and also I have renamed these icons. Let's break down this. So we have the shell element. So this is the root object of the XAML markup. Then we have the tab bar. It is the content of the shell. And two shell contents objects inside the tab bar are added. Before we replace the template code, there was a single shell content object pointing to the main page, and now we have the one pointing to the main page, and then the other is to the about page. The tab bar and its children don't represent any user interface elements, but rather the organization of apps visual hierarchy. Shell takes these objects and produces the user interface for the content, with a bar at the top representing each page. The shell.content icon property for each page uses the on platform markup extension. This XAML markup extension is used to specify different values for different platforms. And in our example here, we have the iOS and the Mac Catalyst values having different icons for this. And now that our app shell is ready, let's run this application and see it in action. So here you will see there are two tabs. One is the Notes tab and our icon, and then there is the About tab and our icon. When you press the About tab, the app navigates to the About page we created. And here you can see we have the Learn More button, which on click opens a browser, which with the specified URL in the browser. So let's close the app, and now next we will focus on creating a page for a note, and this page will is where we will capture the notes. So now the app contains the main page and the about page, so we can start creating the notes page. So first we will have to go to solution explorer and right click on the notes and click on add and new item, just like we did for the about page. And here under the .NET MAUI content page, we after we have selected it, let's rename this page to note page and click on add. So the node page XAML file will open in a new tab, displaying all the XAML markup that represents the UI of the page. So we will replace this vertical stack layout just like we did for the about page, and I will explain or break down that XAML to you step by step. So the first element that you see is the vertical stack layout, which arranges its children controls vertically one below the other. Then we have the editor, is a multi-line text editor control and is the first control inside the vertical stack layout. Then we have the grid, which is a layout control and is the second control inside our vertical stack layout. This control defines columns and rows and creates cells. Child controls are placed within these cells. So here we have the grid dot column, which specifies which cell this button has to populate to. Next, we have the two buttons. The first button is to capture the save event, and the next button is to capture the delete event. So let's start and load and save some notes. So let's go to our code behind of this notes page, and in this we will make some changes. So here, to capture the save and delete functions of the UI, we need to make a few changes. Let me do them quickly, and I will explain you what these changes are. So the code is now ready. So let me quickly explain what I have done. So here on the top, I have added this file name variable, and this file name variable, whenever a note is created, it is saved to the device as a text file. So the name of the file is represented by this file name variable, and here this code constructs a path of the file, storing it in the app's local data directory, and the file name is notes.txt. Next is the constructor that we have modified. So after our initialize component method is called, we read the file from the device and store its content in the text editor controls text property. Next, we have the event handlers for the clicked events of the save button and the delete button. So on click of the save file, all the contents of the text editor are written to a file, and on delete we find if the file exists, and if the file exists, the file is deleted from this file location. So this is a simple enough code, and then the last thing that we need to do is to modify our app shell. So if we go to our app shell right now, our app shell is displaying only the main page and the about page. So we need to make some changes to the content template. So we will change this from main page to notes page and save this. And now when I run this application, you will see our first note page. And here we have our simple note page. So let me try and type some note here and save this file. And now if I close and run the application, it should load the note that I saved earlier. So here you can see the note is loaded from the file that was stored in the apps directory. And if you want to see where the app directory is, let me go to the code behind and go to the file name here, click a breakpoint, and let's run this save again and see what happens. Let's keep a breakpoint here and click on our save, and let's see what is the file name, and let's copy this. And if I go to this folder here, there is a notes text file which was created, and if you open it, you will have this text that we saved. So that was it for our first note part. In the next part, we will talk about how to bind data to a UI and navigate pages, how to split. We will also be splitting our view and models. Right now, we have only the data in the view, and all the data is written directly in the code behind file. So in the next video, we will split these views into views and models, and further in the video we will also have view models to have this MVVM style of application. So hope you all like watching this video. If you do, please give this video a thumbs up, like, share, and do subscribe to my channel. Till then, bye bye.